Good morning. Welcome another edition. The Equine Edge coverage at Fairgrounds. It's been a great meet, honestly. It's been good. It's been tough. I think that there was another big price on the turf yesterday, right? I think it was about $100 winner in the feature on the allowance, but there's been plenty of prices to be had all meet, honestly. And you get, it's a great card today. I thought that there's a couple good spots for sure to, uh, kind of pick. I had a couple strong opinions. I think late the pick six is definitely a potential to play. There might be two singles, I thought, but we'll talk about them later. This first race I thought was fairly competitive. I did think Louisiana Woman was a player. Ships in, we talked about that. The meet's changing over, so now you have these players that are shipping in. Ultimately, they're coming in from Delta. They're coming from these different tracks that ship into Fairgrounds always this time of the meet. So it's something for sure to watch, I would say. It's just off the maiden, gonna have to improve, but this is not a great group. I was 5-2-7-3. The two scratched, I didn't love, but it definitely, I thought was a major player here. I even lean a little bit further towards the five, but I thought this between the five and the two scratch, so 5-3-7 for me is what I thought here. Not a strong opinion. I thought in race two, I think the eight's completely vulnerable. I think anybody else could win this race between these six horses. I was 3-6-9-5-7, but I wouldn't even use the eight in a vertical bet, and horizontal bet. I think Midnight Halo, the speed scratched out of this race, and Midnight Halo going to be completely in the mix with the six here, and they're both going to be in the mix late. I thought, maybe Tap the Tequila with Jose can run. 5 and 7 would be deep ads ultimately, but not strong opinion there. I'd be spreading in a horizontal. I'd be just I was 1-8-2-4 here. If I had to narrow, I'd narrow the 1 and 8 if I was gonna narrow in the sequence, and then I'd also narrow in race 5. But I thought that Perfect Dial might be able to wire the field, honestly, in this race. I mean, it's a maiden claimer. The 4 Miracle on Central, though, got to look, is a long shot as well. Again, I was 1-8-2-4. I thought that, it's a very competitive race. The turf race in race 4 is also competitive, but you can see here, at the stretch, they're all right there, and then at the finish, the 8 kind of takes over. That's a Joe Sharp and Jose runner, and this horse fits on the drop coming out of Turfway. Perfect Dial, though, I thought was interesting on the drop for Calhoun. Ships in from Delta and Oaklawn Park. I thought could maybe wire the field at a nice price. So, but 1-8-2-4 there. Race 4, I do like Tahoe Run as a long shot. This is a Boitano is where everybody's going to key, but I was 11-2-5, and then 1 and 8 would be like deep ads. Late September is a rabbit for Boitano for Camejo. So Boitano, just a really nice horse, but I thought Sophie had a look on Tahoe Run from the outside, going to be 20-1. Everybody going to single the 5, so you got to make a decision there. But Tahoe Run, Sophie rides for Robertson. She's been absolutely on fire. If you're e-user, you can see my notes down here. And you look back at Hawthorne, that was a 56 SOR. She ran, Sophie wasn't aboard, I don't think. Yeah, Mojica was aboard. But he had Brian second, just missing. And this, now Sophie gets aboard dropping from 60s. I thought had a big shot in here at a big price on the turf. But Boitano going to be a heavy favorite, definitely a big player, very nice horse. As won 7 in a row, if I remember, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah, for Camejo. And then late September is the rabbit. But depending on what happens with Red Road up front, will they just duel? I don't know. I'm not so sure. But Red Road dangerous up front along with Late September. But they could set up for Boitano and or Tahoe Run. So as 11-2-5-1, if you're adding super deep, it would be Red Mountain. But I didn't really have a super strong opinion on a single in the early pick 5. The opinions come here shortly. So I was just 2-3 here. I thought it looks like the first race in 4 minutes, so I'm gonna try to make sure to finish. But I thought Kazoom ultimately could wire the field, but Impovito I thought was an interesting firster for Al Stahl. So I was just 2-3 in this race. That was my strongest opinion. I play daily doubles. I would go narrow here in the late pick 6 and late pick 5. I'd play more late than I think early. I just had a little bit of a stronger opinion. That 5-horse in race 1, though, the favorite, and would have scratched into a lone A there. But Kazoom, I think, seriously could wire this field. It takes a drop. Joe, Jose, they're dropping massive. 10 points in strength of race. Speed of the speed coming out of a 50,000 claimer into a 30 and could just run them off their feet, honestly. But Impovito, an interesting firster, has some nice works on all the way back to December. And you look here, and obviously was fit and ready to roll. And then again, working well here. We don't have video, but I think this horse, I think the 3 with Raquelme going to be a runner, but the 2 could be a single. I'd probably just go 2 deep. Chickenary would be my 3rd pick. So I was 2-3-7. I would play the pick 6 and pick 5. We talked about the runners in pick 4. I think in race 6, my top pick is Go Sugar. He gets over to the turf. He won a 74 on the lead 2 back. I mean, that was on the dirt. Couldn't get the lead last out in that sprint on the dirt. And now looks to be not lone speed, but I think could run them off their feet on the turf. I love the 4 cold over the 3-5 exacta. I'm coaching basketball, so I don't know if I might play just the cash fairgrounds tourney. That'd be that daily double I last. But that exacta would be my key bet. 4 over the 3-5 and maybe even a try. But that's where I'd spread race 4. I'd just go 2 or 3 deep race 5. I'd single in race 6 to Go Sugar. And then race 7 and 8, I spreading to those 5. I don't trust Swagging as a favorite. I know a lot of people do. I'm not there. I do think the horse can win, but I think a lot of others can win in race 7. It's a great main special. And then race 8, I also think you can beat Higgins Boat. I have Emmanuel on top, but I'd be deep spread here. I think the 8 is extremely sneaky coming off over a 2-year layoff. 1 grade 1 in Chile. If this horse is anything, this isn't necessarily a great group. If this horse has anything left, it could win at a price. But I like Emmanuel. Comes in versus tougher, Maker. Castillo rides. He's been riding well on the turf. And I thought, but I'd be spread here. But I think you can beat Higgins Boat. For me, I'm trying to beat the 5. It's a great race. You'll see that here it's, comes 3-5-4. Presider ended up winning the race in. But there's a bunch there. And don't leave out Maycox Bay. So I'd be deep spread there. This race wide open. And then in the last, I'm 5, 2, 8, 6, 10. I think the 5 is a single though. So I think if I'm playing pick 4s, pick 4s, pick 5s to pick 6, I think I'm double singled. I think I'm singling race 6 with Go Sugar. And I think the 5 get a Golden Bandit, run them off their feet. So we're on 2 speed runners, 1 in race 6, 1 on race 9. We keep trying to hit this last race of the day. Yesterday we got Nose that had a single. But that's how I see it in its baseball season. Go Mariners. Oh, man, it's going to be a fun one to watch. They won yesterday, the first day of the Cactus League. But they're the real deal, man. They keep taking money. I think I think they got bet down, all the way to 9-1 to win the World Series. They're the second favorite in the AL, right behind the Yankees. But take them. They're like 5-1 at least you can find. I think you can find a little higher, but Gary, of course, it's a good card. It really is. They're about to go in race 1, so I'm going to let you all go. I got to go do some baseball stuff and then go coach basketball. So we should be back tomorrow. I had to get over some technical issues, and I think we're good to go. But yeah, all right, y'all. Good luck. Have fun. Press your opinion, and we'll be back tomorrow.